All right, good morning. It is another Reset Monday. Hey, Uncle Al in the chat. Cheers to another Monday. And we are getting closer and closer to the holidays, which, I want to stay on this topic of stress and holiday stress because my patients are, this is, it's December 11th, which means that we're starting to really get into that, oh my gosh, Christmas is only 2 weeks away. And is it even 2 weeks? It's 2 weeks from today. So that means that, you're getting closer and closer to the stress of the holiday and trying to get all the shopping in and plan your day and who's coming over and do you have to cook and what is it all going to look like for you? So I jump over here into there we go. Okay, reset. That there. Okay, fantastic. Hey, Joe, how are you? Nice to see you here. We are talking about, I want to stay on the subject of stress as we get closer to the holidays. And I wanted to give you guys a couple of tips that you can use as you go through this. And if you find yourself, feeling that angst, you're not sleeping, you're getting snippy, or you're just racing, you're super tired. Hey, Idaho Garden Girl, how are you? Nice to see you here. So the most important thing is that we're able to manage. So the stress isn't going to go away. Christmas is going to come and Christmas is going to go. And then there's going to be something else. And you're going to be thinking, oh my gosh, I spent too much money at the holidays. And you're going to be stressed about that. And then the new year's going to come. And then you're like, oh, I got to make resolutions. And then you're going to think, oh my gosh, I'm going to fail my resolutions because like 90% of people fail their resolutions within 3 weeks. So, hey, Wild, just shared as I was coming in. Hugs, everyone. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And please hit the thumbs up button as well. Great. Appreciate you so much. We're at 936 subscribers today, still trying to get to 1,000 by the end of the year. So all those shares and likes are super helpful. Really appreciate you all for that. So keeping in mind that stress is not going away. So what we have to do is manage how we handle that stress. So are you going to handle it in a positive way? Or are you going to handle it in a negative way? Negative ways would be like, again, your mindset, your attitude, taking on the stress. Maybe you get sick because you've taken on so much stress. You just don't have a good response to it. So if you notice you're getting sick or your digestion changes because stress will change your digestion. Yes, stress alone will raise blood sugar and it can completely flip the good bacteria in your gut. So if you already have a gut issue, you could end up with more gut issue by the end of the holidays or the beginning of the new year. So it's learning how to handle the stress that comes with you. It's your response to the stress. The stress does not change. The response to the stress must change. And it needs to change. It needs to change from you, right? So if you're thinking, oh, if I just didn't have this thing, or if this person wasn't so, angry every time I talk to them, or so mean, or whatever that is, you can't change other people. You can't necessarily change other circumstances. You can control your circumstances and your environment. So you've heard me say before, control the controllables, control what's within your reach. So, and Wild says, yeah, to that point, right? Not feeling well, indigestion and stress right now. So breathing is the simplest thing that you can do, deep breathing. Now, there's a way to breathe. Of course, we all breathe, but most people are actually mouth breathers. So if you start watching, pay attention, is that most people, they have their mouth open, okay? And And they're mouth breathers. If you're in a meeting or, you're sitting with a group of people or a group of family, look around, look at the people in your environment. You're going to notice that they're mouth breathers. And yes, mouth breathing, sleep apnea. So Joe, you're going to love next Sunday's live. You all are going to love next Sunday's live because I have Dr. Joel Gould. He's a holistic dentist, and he talks about sleep apnea and all of these chronic health issues from a dental perspective. So that's going to be really, 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 really great. Good morning, Kimberly. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you being here. So deep breathing, first of all, then recognizing within yourself. Do you breathe? Your body needs that oxygen. If you are only, breathing shallow, then you're not bottoming out your lungs. You're actually, what you need to do is, and you got to get your lungs like a sponge, and it takes in all the oxygen when you breathe, but it contracts and it expands. And so the more you breathe, the more that lung expands, and then you're pushing that out. So you're literally exercising the lung tissue. You have to get your lungs used to expanding and contracting. And so pay attention. Are you a mouth breather? Are you a shallow breather? So if you're a mouth breather, chances are you're also a shallow breather. So you're breathing right up in here into the top lobes of the lungs. Oftentimes before I adjust people, every time before I adjust somebody, I will tell them to take a deep breath. Now, if you've been established in this office, you know how to take a deep breath because I've taught you how to do that. But most people, when they first sit down in that chair and they're getting their first adjustment or first or second, and I have my hands on their shoulders and I'll say, take a deep breath. And they literally will go, it's like, you didn't even move your lungs, right? So I'm like, no, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. And what you'll notice if you take that deep breath, close your mouth and you take the deep breath through your nose and hold it for 3 seconds. You could hold it for 10. You could practice holding it for longer. And then you can either exhale through the mouth or through the nose, but making sure you're being very deliberate in pushing that out. So this is active. When we just sit here, my lungs are breathing. I'm not really paying attention to my nervous system. It's happening. I'm getting oxygen. This is, more of a passive breathing. But when you're active about it and you're intentional, it sounds like this. So there's almost a throaty sound to it as you expand and you push. And you should feel your abdominal muscles responding to that as well. So that is a very energizing way to get the oxygen. So deep breathing will help to calm down the fight or flight. So let's say you're waiting in line at the Apple store or at the coffee shop to get a coffee so you can go walk through the mall, which is stress in and of itself. You could use that deep breathing, right? You could do deep breathing while you're walking. You get into your car and you So think about this. If you have a little cotton ball on the tip of your nose, a little tiny cotton ball molecule of oxygen, you want to get that cotton ball up into the sinuses, down all the way to your navel. So if you think about how would you get that, how would you get it to travel that path? Then you can easily really pull that oxygen in, and then you have to get it from the navel back out to the tip of your nose. And you have to push really hard to get it out. So think about your breathing from that perspective. And when you start to breathe in, give it a hold, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds. If you can get up to 10 seconds, what you'll notice when you start to hold your breath like that with a full breath of oxygen, and then on the exhale, you can hold it there. What you'll notice is that when you start to do that, you might panic a little bit because we're conditioned to think that we need oxygen, right? But you have the ability to breathe. So training your body to go those few moments without oxygen, that actually will build up your strength and stamina and start to retrain your body on how to actually breathe. So good morning, Bill. How are you? So getting rid of the stress is going to be key for you. So Wild says, usually shallow breather unless I'm paying attention, trying to slow it down a bit, and probably mouth breathing before changing. Yeah. So there's a lot of information on mouth taping. So taping your mouth shut while you sleep in order to get you to breathe, through your nose. I have a slight issue with that because I work with so many people who have deviated septums. And when you have a deviated septum, it's difficult to breathe. So what we have to do is fix the septum first, and then we can talk about the mouth breathing. There's a lot of layers of mouth breathing that need to, before you just go throwing tape over your mouth, you got to do some other things. You need to see a chiropractor. You've got to have your upper cervical spine adjusted. You need to make sure the jaw is in correct position and make sure your nasal septum gets adjusted properly so that you have the capacity to fully breathe through your nose. And then obviously if you're congested and, if you have a lot of sinus congestion, then you want to make sure that you're getting that handled as well. So the breathing, the other thing too, is there's a, hold on, let me open my door. Get in your place. Get in your place. Get in your place. Go on. Get in your place. Get in your place. Go on. Down. Down. Ah! Get in your place. Get in your place. Come on, I'll get you a toy. Get down. Stay. Stay. Hi, guys. Just finishing up my last video. Here you go. There you go. Get in your place. Don't take my shoe. Okay, sorry. A little wild animal here. Okay. So you'll see things on mouth taping, and we'll talk about that too on next Sunday's live with the dentist to get his take on that. Again, talking about how chiropractors and dentists can work together to improve a lot of these things. Yes. Are you LOLing with Bentley? Yeah. So I have to hold my mouth closed to my nose at the back. I don't tape mouth tape, but I usually have my mouth closed. So the other thing too, we've talked about this, where the tongue should fit up into the upper palate. So what happens also with stress, and especially with sleep and then during the day, if you're shallow mouth breathing and your tongue is not sitting up in the palate, it does change the pattern of breath. And when it changes the pattern of breath, it can actually create that stress and fight or flight response. So that's where, if we can start to train yourself how to breathe, not through your mouth, through your nose during the day, then you can start to then practice that before you go to bed at night. And it'll actually help to calm your nervous system overall. So starting just there. So deep breathing, holding 2, 3, 4, 10 seconds, and then exhaling forcefully to push it out. And do that. Let's just start with 5 times on that, because what will happen is when you start to breathe in deep and exhale, you can start to get dizzy. So make sure you're seated and that you're not like sitting at a red light or something like that. So sit yourself in a chair, be comfortable, so that you can start to do that. If you get dizzy, that's actually normal. You're getting oxygen to your brain. So yes. So COPD, this is compromised lungs. And if you notice too, when people have lung issues, you ever see those little devices that people with asthma or COPD, they have, and you have to exhale to push the balls up, right? So you have to get those balls to a certain level. And then that's a sign that you're expanding and contracting your lungs properly. So you can get one of those. That's actually really helpful to pick one of those up. It's a breathing device. I don't know what it's called. It doesn't help you breathe, but it's just a trainer. But in the absence of doing that, and especially if you have COPD, it's the practice is getting as deep of a breath as you can and then exhaling. as best you can. Now, people who have compromised lung issues, like COPD, it might induce a cough. So the more you practice it, the less opportunity there will be for coughing. So, and again, it's like exercising any muscle. You just have to get in there and start moving it, right? So the more you can do that, I think that would be really helpful for you, Kathleen. That's a really great question. So thanks for asking that. So Wild says, if I'm in pain and stressed, I chew. I try to stop myself, but it's hard at times. Chew and grind. Yes, come to the dentist talk next week. So we're going to talk about grinding. A lot of times grinding is stress, but it's also nutritional deficiencies. So we're going to talk about what deficiencies that entails. And again, from a chiropractic perspective, if you're working with a holistic dentist and a chiropractor, the chiropractor is going to adjust that upper cervical, make sure the jaw is in alignment. And then when you go to see the dentist, then you can talk about proper alignment from a dental perspective. Oftentimes people, dentists will take care of here forward, chiropractors will take care of here back. In my office, I take care of the jaw, the upper cervical. I'm looking at airway, and then at some point I'll refer over to a holistic dentist. So I'm really, really excited to have the dental talk. So that'll be really helpful for many of you who, a lot of people have talked about sleep apnea. How do we help with sleep apnea? Snoring is another big one. So getting that alignment, and again, getting the breath. Now, another way when you do this breath is when you breathe in, take your tongue and press it to the roof of your mouth. And when you do that, again, your tongue should come and fit nicely into the roof of your mouth. So press your tongue as you breathe, and as you exhale. And if you keep your tongue pressed up there, now you're training your tongue. Your tongue's a muscle, and you're training it to sit above into the palate. And that will help as well. So again, we're talking about our stress levels. How can you manage them? And it's a simple just breathing, right? So just breathing. There's a lot of deep breathing techniques that you can do, but for the most part, I really just want you to start to learn the basics of actually breathing and recognizing, are you a shallow breather, or are you a mouth breather? And do you need to start training that? Thanks, Joe. So next Sunday's show is at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's Dr. Joel Gould. He's a dentist out of Huntington Beach, I think, Manhattan Beach. He's in California. So again, I saw him on some big podcast. Mike Mutzel. What's Mike Mutzel's channel? I can't remember because High Intensity Health. I listen to him all the time. Been listening to him forever. Great information on health and wellness. He goes like deep into the nitty gritty of the data and studies. And he had Dr. Gould on there, and I was like, oh, he's speaking our language. So I know you guys will absolutely love it. That's next Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. So thank you for that reminder. And if you have questions, I know a lot of you are going to have questions about apnea, snoring, jaw, mouth, grinding. I think these are all great questions. So make sure you can email me at doc@drruffin.com. I will put that right here. So email me your questions, and we can make sure we get those lined up. Or if you save your questions, you can drop them into the chat. If you don't think you can make it, then go ahead and email me your questions, because this will be good. And he's not going to be the only dentist that I'm going to have on. So I think holistic dentistry and chiropractic go so hand in hand that it really, and we have a chronic sleep epidemic, the snoring, the apnea, all of those things need to be addressed. And I believe they need to be addressed from a chiropractic and a dental perspective. So yes, for sure, I will be having, we'll be having a great conversation next week. So I hope you guys can tune in. The one last thing that I'm going to leave you with is, there is I'm just pulling it up here for you. So there's another, it's called NonSleep Deep Rest. And there's so many different ones. I'm going to type it in here so then you guys can. So non-sleep deep rest is really interesting because what it does, and there's multiple that you can go look up on YouTube, and what it is it's a guided breathing of sorts, like a guided breathing and meditation. And it's not your typical, garden variety breathing meditation. It's very specific in an effort to reset your nervous system. There's 5-minute, 10-minute, 20, 30-minute ones. I've done it to help me go to sleep. I've done it if I've waken up in the middle of the night and I need to re-go to sleep. I've done it if I know I have to do something really creative and I'm feeling blocked. I'll do a 5 or a 10-minute one, and it clears your nervous system. So it actually helps to reset the nervous system. So again, when you've been just so inundated with all the stress from the holidays, the family, the shopping, all of those things, stop and do your deep breathing or go and do the non-sleep deep rest will be really helpful for you. Good morning, Paula. Nice to see you on. So I hope that was helpful. So these Reset Mondays, just a short little tidbit to help you get started in your week. And so today is just breathing, right? So are you a mouth breather? I'd like to know, are you a mouth breather? Are you a shallow breather? Do you need to work on that? And then we probably bring in some breath experts. I think that would be fun. I could bring in some yoga, some good yoga teachers who could talk to us about breath so that we can start to get a little bit better idea of how you should be breathing and how you can train yourself to breathe better. So, there's a combination, nose and shallow. Okay, so we got to figure that out, right? So training that, being deliberate about how you breathe is going to be that's going to be your key there. So if you are in here watching, I appreciate you. And if you have not hit the thumbs up button, I only have 6 thumbs up and I see 11 people on the chat. So if you could hit that thumbs up button for me, I appreciate it. And also, you guys, if you would please share out this channel as well as share out the event for next Sunday. I would love that. Also this Thursday for Chiropractic is Sexy at 1:00 Eastern Standard Time. I'm having, his name's Jim Chester, and he's not a chiropractor, but he is an incredible advocate for chiropractic. He's dedicated his whole career to chiropractic, and he's interviewed some of the greats in the industry. So we're going to have Jim Chester on, and that's going to be a really great interview, 1:00 on Thursday. Joe says, been trying to go through my nose for the past 10 years. I really do well when I'm rested, but I'm sleeping 4 to 5 hours. Yeah, that's the other thing too. If you're not getting rest, and I know there's been a lot of stress, so now it's a matter of taking the active breath so that you can train yourself to just calm your nervous system. Those non-sleep deep rests might be really helpful for you, Joe, to help to, again, calm that nervous system. Sounds like maybe everybody in your family, with everything you have going on, could use a little bit of non-sleep deep rest and some breath training to calm the nervous system. So give that a try and let me know. And then I'll look forward to, hopefully you can make it on my show, because I know you have your Sunday fun day right after that. I always try to jump on there for a little bit. I was on for quite a while last night. What a great panel you had on last night. Really, really interesting. So if you're watching this, go give Grow Big TV a follow, and throw that in there here. They are growing fast and furious. So right there. Okay, there we go. Okay, so go give Grow Big a follow. Really great stuff on there. And I'm doing a segment for them every Thursday. They're doing a vegetable. And then I'm doing a quick, 2 to 4 or 5 minute video on what that vegetable is. Last week was peas, and this week is tomatoes. I don't know how I'm going to do a video on tomatoes and keep it under 4 minutes. That's going to be so tough. But I better do some homework to figure out how I'm going to do that. So thank you. Huge. Yes. Oh my gosh. So yes, grab that. I'm going to grab that and share that out. This is a huge, huge opportunity for Grow Big TV. They are interviewing M.I. Gardner, and he has millions of viewers on his channel. He's he's like uber famous in the YouTube gardening world. So tune in on Tuesday. I have a board meeting at 7:00 tomorrow night. We were talking this Tuesday, right? So yeah. So yeah, going to be in yeah. But so I have a board meeting tomorrow night. So I don't know how long your interview is going to go or what time you're going to start it, but my board meetings usually go till 8:30. So unfortunately, I can't be there live. I'm super bummed. I would love to be there live and supporting in the chat. And of course, engaging with Luke. So that would be amazing. But good luck tomorrow. And everybody give that a follow and go grab that interview and share that out for them. Because that's a big, big deal. And they're also like sponsoring seeds from MI Gardener too. So, and he does not do interviews. So this is really, really a great opportunity. Okay, you guys, it is 10:13. My patients are patiently waiting. So I'm going to let you guys go while I go heal the world, and have an amazing Reset Monday, an amazing week. And I'll see you Thursday, and I'll see you next Sunday. All right. Take care. Love y'all. Bye.